Welcome viewers to the Research Methodology module. I am Dr. Priya Rai, Deputy Librarian at National Law University, Delhi. Well viewers, today we are going to learn about a very important topic which is really very must for every researchers and a writer to understand. The topic is about plagiarism under Research Methodology module. Well, the topic on this unit is academic plagiarism and scholarly dishonesty. Well viewers, in this module we will learn about the concept and genesis of plagiarism, basically detailed about what is a plagiarism. Will make you familiarize with the common reason of plagiarism, what are the basic classifications of plagiarism and the methods how to avoid plagiarism in research. Familiarization with most common use plagiarism software and familiarity with various numbers of open access plagiarism check software and the conclusion in the last. Well viewers, we all know that rapid advancement in the technology offered extensive opportunity for research communities and also raises new concerns and challenges for scholarly community. Abundance of information explosion and availability of new technology and tool has changed the trends of research methodology and quite often leads the researcher confused over interpretation and citation of sources of information gathered during research process. This confusing state of researchers considers to be the main cause of academic dishonesty. Well, in this module, we will learn about what is plagiarism, common reasons of plagiarism, most common classification of academic plagiarism, what are the consequences of plagiarism and what are the prevention software including remarks. What is plagiarism? According to Black's Law Dictionary, the deliberate and knowing presentation of another person's original idea or creative expressions as one's own. Whereas Webster Dictionary define plagiarize as to steal and pass off the ideas or words of another person as their own, to use another's publication without crediting the source and to commit literary theft. Well, it also states that to present a new idea and original idea or product derived from existing sources. Whereas Oxford English Dictionary defined plagiarism as the wrongful appropriation or prolonging the and publication as one's own of the ideas or the expression of the idea of another's, or we can say plagiarism is the wrongful appropriation and stealing the publication of another author's language, thought, idea or expression and the presentation of them as one's own original work. Well, in many places the synonyms of plagiarism is used as a literary theft, whereas online etymology dictionary explains the word plagiarism as derived from Latin phrase terms as plagiary, generally referred for kidnapping or seducer as one's own, kidnaps the child or slaves of another person. In many educational institutions have provided the definition or underlying the concept of plagiarism for students' easy understandings, whereas Oxford University Student Guide defines plagiarism as an act of presenting others' academic work or ideas including all the published and unpublished material as your own without the consent of writers by incorporating into the body of your work, both in print as well as with electronic format without acknowledgement. So, they further mentioned that any student, if found guilty under the conduct of plagiarism, intentionally or unintentionally, will be charged with disciplinary offences. Yes, disciplinary offences. Academic misconduct are categorized as scholarly dishonesty under the following category: cheating, fabrication, falsification, multiple submissions, and plagiarism. Well, the Office of Aegis Honor System (AHSO) established under Texas A&M University defined various acts characterized as dishonesty in scholarly communications. Viewers, cheating: when a research deliberately uses or attempt to use legitimate information, assignments, study materials, notes, or other literary devices of academic or scholarly writing of someone else, they are considered to commit academic cheating. Fabrication: it includes presentation of false data, information, citation, or submission of any other type of unauthorized or fabricated results, recordings, and documents related to scholarly work. Another word is falsification. Well, it is mispresentation or altering academic documents, data, results, or distortion of any academic records. Another word is multiple submissions. Yes, viewers, when any author submit the same manuscript more than once or any substantial part of same work without attribution, that acts may amount to academic dishonesty. The word plagiarism is an act of presenting another writer's work as own without providing proper accreditation or acknowledgement causes plagiarism. Complicity: deliberately helping or attempting to help others or involvement in any unlawful act of academic dishonesty. Another word is misuse of computer access. When unauthorized access of electronic information in any academic exercises. Well, viewers, there are various common reasons of plagiarism which we are going to discuss. Well, plagiarism is considered as an act of unethical academic conduct. The very basic foundation of academic writing is based on the pillars of academic honesty. But there are many reasons which causes student for misappropriation of academic writings. They are academic pressure. Because of academic pressure, poor writing skills, fear from failure, time management, unawareness about citation, and internet plagiarism. Well, we are going to discuss about all these things. Academic pressure. One of the common reasons of plagiarism quoted by students is academic stress of performance and multiple submission of projects of different subjects in less span of time. Poor writing skills. Well, unprimed writing skills are primary reasons of plagiarism. Students lacking the basic understanding about the tools and techniques available for effective writing often commit plagiarism. Fear from failure. Due to the lack of skills and misunderstanding about the concept and subject expertise, many students fear from the failure to maintain with the standards of writing. They consider copying another person's text are more reliable, so they get into plagiarism. Time management. Many students mention that they fail to cope with the time management skills while handling huge research projects and lack effective research oriented writing. They found easy to plagiarize. Unawareness about the citations. Well, in many cases it is found the writers committed plagiarism unintentionally. They don't have awareness about the concept of citation. Well, lack of proper orientation about the availability of different citation style manual causes the writer to avoid acknowledgement to the original author and provide proper citation to the sources which they have used for their research work. Well, internet has, as we have already discussed, the internet has made us easy to get the information, but the availability of technology tool has been considered the main cause for the rise of plagiarism in writing. Students find easy to copy the text and paste in own writing and sometimes forget to cite the web addresses. So viewers, we are going to discuss about common classification of academic plagiarism. As we have discussed that academic plagiarism occurs when writers of a piece of information copy substantial part of other work without attribution. Well, plagiarism is manifested in different formats. In order to adopt best practices in academic writing and scholarship, various universities has provided outlines of certain acts to avoid plagiarism and maintain uniformity in writing assignments and uphold intellectual honesty. The most common form of plagiarism found in academic writings are direct plagiarism, word switch plagiarism, mosaic plagiarism, self-plagiarism, paraphrasing and incorrect citation. Well, we are going to discuss about these types. Direct plagiarism. Most common form of plagiarism in scholarly writing is direct copying, in which plagiarizer exactly incorporate the exact text word to word from another's publication available in print or in online format into their own assignment or writing without citing the original author. Well, this causes a huge problem in writing and they consider under the category of direct plagiarism. Word switch plagiarism is another way of copying another's text. In this form of plagiarism, few words from sentence or text of others' writing are interchanged with new synonyms and the rest of the piece of writing are copied exactly without attribution. So they are called word switch plagiarism, where few words are switched and the rest of the text remains the same. Another form of plagiarism found in academic writing is patchwork plagiarism or mosaic plagiarism. Well, this is the most common form of plagiarism found in the writing of students. It mainly constitutes through patch writing. The main reasons for the occurrence is using phrases from the text without quotation mark. Subsequently, substituting few words with synonym words, making the rest of the text unchanged without citation to the source of the text. Well, another form of plagiarism which is very much found in the academic writing is self-plagiarism, and very few researchers know about this. Yes, viewers, there is a word called self-plagiarism in which an academic writing could fall in a category when an author intentionally or unintentionally resubmit entire or subsequent portion of his or her already published work in own previous writings and reclaimed it as new work without acknowledgement or permission. It also refers as recycling, multiple submission and duplication work. Paraphrasing plagiarism. Well, paraphrase is defined as rewriting paragraph or passage of a writings into own words or rearrangement of writing into a new framework without putting within quotes or attribution. Thus, when a writer replaces the word with synonymous words or phrases from original piece without phrasing the original sentence or do cosmic changes, it is considered as paraphrase plagiarism. Incorrect citation. Sometimes the researcher unknowingly provide inappropriate citation or furnish incorrect information about both in the text of the document or in the footnote of the reference list, and this may lead to a plagiarism. So it is really very important to check the citation which we are putting in our footnote or in our endnotes before submitting our research work. Metaphor plagiarism is another form when a writer reprint metaphor or analog from a source as their own without citing original. It is subject to plagiarism. Metaphors are an important part of an author's creative style. If you cannot come up with your own metaphor or illustrate an idea that use the metaphor in other source article but give the author credit for it. So it is really very important in all the cases whenever we are taking some information from another person's text, we should always give the credit or put the attribution or acknowledge the persons from where we are taking the information. Well, viewers, we have learned about what are the classification. Now we are learned how to avoid plagiarism. This is really one of the main question which comes in the mind of the viewers when they are listening or seeing this video. Well, viewers, it is really very easy to avoid plagiarism from the text of our writing. We have to follow certain steps which I am going to discuss with you. Vital element of successful research writing is planning and identifying various strategies of researching. The writer often faces number of challenges while presenting the already published idea and learning into successful piece of writings. While applying the facts and issues, the author needed to understand or underline the basic causes to remain protected for the catch of plagiarism. So some key points to avoid plagiarisms are attribution, citation, paraphrasing, avoid self-plagiarism, direct quote, reference sources, and use of anti-plagiarism software. There are number of software available which we can use to avoid plagiarism. I will discuss in next slides. So attribution, crediting the original author is one of the prerequisites of research writings. Yes, acknowledgement to the copyright holder by citing the references reduces plagiarism. So it is really very important to attribute the original writer from where we have taken the idea or thoughts or the text. So citation is another form of avoiding plagiarism. One of the effective methods to avoid plagiarism is citing the source of information in the form of bibliographies available and references of books, journals, and electronic databases using appropriate style manual or guides. Yes, viewers, there are various style manuals or guides available which we can use according to the subject in which we are writing a paper and researching. So before writing a paper or while we are doing research, we should understand what is a citation and what type of manuals are available which help us to maintain the uniform citation. Paraphrasing, utmost care must be taken while paraphrasing. It is important to explain all the readings in their own words with proper citation format to the original contributor. Well, avoid verbatim or word-to-word copy of text, and if needed, then make proper use of quote, quotation mark, and proper attribution. Another format is avoid self-plagiarism. As we have already discussed what is a self-plagiarism. So it is also important to cite your own previous publishings if reused or included in the text of the work. Failure to acknowledge of your own published or unpublished work would constitute plagiarism, because there are different types of plagiarism software which will catch you, and if you have not given the attribution or you have not cited, they will show it as a plagiarism. Direct quote, when one of the effective way to avoid plagiarism whenever using the direct quote, phrase, keywords from other one's text is quoting the source with quotation mark and cite the source in footnote or endnote of the text. Reference sources. Well, inadvertent plagiarism could be avoided by tracking all the reference sources used in process of researching. Well, we have to be very careful, we have to be very planned while we are researching on any topic. Writers should be very careful to quote the exact references of the source from where the quotes or words have been referred, and maintain the bibliographies. Yes, it is really very important to maintain the bibliography or list of references at the end of the research paper. The last one is use of the anti-plagiarism software. Yes, the use of anti-plagiarism software tools to check the similarity index of the content of your paper. It is evident method to prove the originality of research paper or assignments. So viewers, we have learned about what is plagiarism, what are the consequences of how to avoid the plagiarism. Now we are going to discuss about what are the consequences. If we found guilt of plagiarism, what could happen to with us or our paper? Well, academic community has considered plagiarism as an act of academic misconduct and instrumented various policies, courts and committees to deal with the seriousness of the conduct. Any academic researchers, whether student or faculty, if found to engage in any sort of academic dishonesty, have to undergo serious consequences from grade reduction to suspension or dismissal, depend upon the extent of the occurrence of the plagiarism. So there are few consequences which we are going to discuss. Peter Charles Hofer, in his article Reflection on Plagiarism, states that educational institutions lead the way in investigating allegations of plagiarism. Also argues that other societies should also act in the cases of plagiarism. So it is must for all the researchers to understand the destroying characteristics of plagiarism allegations. These ethical offences not only barred one from the academic activity or community, but also destroy career and professional reputation. Well, University Grants Commission is also planning to enforce a uniform law to deal with the cases of plagiarism in higher education. They are coming up with some sort of compulsory regulations and rules which every university will follow. Well, in the absence of uniform legal regulations, many academic institutions has constituted their own policies and regulation for maintaining ethical standards and values in research and academic publications like theses, dissertations, essays and other coursework, and to control unrestrained domain practice of plagiarism with ranges of punishment. So what are those punishment which could be imposed on a plagiarizer? Warning to degradation, it could be deduction of marks, it could be permanent or temporary time bound restriction, failure to withdraw from the degree, verbal or could be written warning, disqualified to receive any kind of grant, suspension or expulsion from the services. These type of consequences, it depends upon the university and the institutions what they have framed and the committee which they constitute. Well, we must remember few of the things, do's and don'ts of the plagiarism. So these are really very important recap. Attribute references or cite your source using citation manual. Describe all the sources of the information. Give acknowledgement. Provide footnote or prepare bibliography before starting our research work. This is really very important. Use quotation marks whenever required. Paraphrase the original attribute work. Avoid self-plagiarism by acknowledging own references, and it is really very important to use the anti-plagiarism software to check the similarity indexes. Well, these are some of the important points we must remember. Plagiarism prevention software. Now viewers, we are discussing about what are the software available. Well, internet technology has made the retrieval of information very easy, but at the same time raises various serious concern which is hunting the hall of academic institutions. Well, one of the writer Romans and others in their article on computer based plagiarism detection methods and tool, considered academic dishonesty as a kind of social illness but have various methods of cures. Well, plagiarism prevention software, thus the advancement of technology has made plagiarizer easy to steal but alternatively unable to detect also. Yes, if we can steal, we can detect also. The availability of plagiarism detection software have annihilated the part of plagiarism. Well, they have provided various remedies through which we can see ourselves, we can also see how much our work we have done is plagiarized by using these software. Well, these softwares help to find the percentages of similarity index by highlighting the exact phrase or text, and also offers the proof of your content authentication. A variety of plagiarism screening tools and computer softwares are available to identify or detect academic misconduct both in commercial and open access platform. So viewers, we are going to discuss what are the commercial software and what are free to use software which we could use for our academic research. Well, Turnitin is an anti-plagiarism software created by iParadigm LCC. It is first launched in 1997 and used for the detection of originality of written material and helps to improve the writing skills. It is one of the popular commercial cloud-based plagiarism software highly used worldwide by academic institutions for prevention of academic misconduct in scholarly community. When any piece of work in an electronic format is submitted in the software, it analyzes and compares the information against number of databases, web pages and previously submitted works and generates the sources of matched text and enable the authors to properly paraphrase and cite the text whenever needed. Another commercial software is Urkund. Urkund is also being provided by UGC in various institutions. Urkund is an automated soft system of plagiarism checking. It provides easy service and does not require any installation of software and interfaces. Well, the documents or assignment which is needed to be checked should be sent via electronic route or email to Urkund. Well, it compares the forwarded text through internet sources, databases, published documents like books, journals and other material and the student submitted assignment. It analyzes and generates similarity of content and send it back to the concerned teacher with grades marks between 0 to 100 to detect the occurrence of plagiarism in the submitted documents. Well, another software is Viber. Friends, it is a non-commercial anti-plagiarism checking software, means it is available free to use through the access of internet. It is a product of scanmyeasy.com, registered in England and Wales. It is an online web-based tool to avoid plagiarism as it checks the content against billions of sources, provided side by side comparisons, offer unlimited submissions, provides comprehensive plagiarism reports and most importantly it is free to download. We have another software which is a PlaceChecker. PlaceChecker is an online software plagiarism checker designed by computer engineers from Ukraine. It follows some basic steps to check the content. Upload the content in a software as it receives the text automatically. Start checking the content similarity through internet pages, database and millions of academic work. Once the process completed, it sends the report mentioning the sections of the plagiarized content that requires citing. Another important feature other than plagiarism scan is that it also fixes grammar mistakes and proofread the text submitted. Another free software is PlaceChecker. Well, it is a non-commercial plagiarism checking software. It is free to accessible platform where, whether used one-time submission or multiple submission. It mandates the users to register to access 50 search maximum in a one day. For registered one, it permits only one search per day. To check the text of your work, one need to copy, paste maximum 1000 words in the big box, then click and browse the tab and upload a doc or text file. The web links is mentioned here. You can use the software by using these web links. It is a process. It processes the uploaded text and submit the results. The content is free, then it shows no plagiarism detection, otherwise provides sources, websites from where the text is copied. Below mentioned table explains some of the highlighted features of various softwares available in commercial and free domain. Well, these are some of the important software with their web links. Well, viewers, we will now discuss the simple succession mantra. Step 1, keep the track of information. Step 2, know how to paraphrase. And most importantly, step 3, proofread and use plagiarism checker. Well, the basic foundation of academic and educational institutions are to reinforce social development by enhancing best practices in research and education endeavors. The advent of information technology has drastically transformed the pattern and approach of research, availability and extensive amount of information and broader spectrum of knowledge impacted on the writing skills and of intellectuals. Well, technological consequences are prevailing serious issues and concern in academic ethics. The dimensions of scholarly misconduct are becoming wider and leading us to the develop of universalistic approach, shifting from social to individual, moral to ethical responsibility. Researchers and writers should engage themselves in ethical writing by providing attribution to the original author or idea of writings, being careful while preparing notes and paragraph, making appropriate quotes. Universities and organizations have stated dealing with the accelerating problem of academic misconduct very seriously by avoiding ranges of penalty for both students and academic researchers and mandates the use of anti-plagiarism software. The researchers and the writers need to develop the skills of writing instead of becoming slaves of the cutting-edge technology. Well, dear learners, we have learned about plagiarism in this module. So, we have learned about the familiarity and concept of plagiarism. What is a plagiarism? Familiarity with common reasons of the plagiarism. What are the main common reasons which we can avoid to get rid of plagiarism? Common classifications of plagiarism. What categories of plagiarism are? How to avoid plagiarism in research, project, thesis and our academic writings. Familiarity with common use plagiarism softwares which we have discussed, and familiarity with number of free and open access non-commercial softwares for checking the content of our work which we have done. So viewers, in this module we have learned various issues related to plagiarism and how to protect our research writing from the evil of plagiarism and maintain academic ethics. We have another module which is another important topic called citation pattern. Hope you will learn out of it, and I wish you best of luck for your examination. Thank you so much.